It's time to reveal the next generation Polo GTI. Here it is with an aggressive look and the typical red color, the Id.폴로 Gti. What do you need to know about this one in exterior, interior and the performance? I'm Thomas, this is Autogefuehl의 in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. Here, the light strip as the normal Id.폴lo, but then the special GTI features. For example, GTI badging here in the front, red stripe here, and then in the lower part you have this special aggressive look, honeycomb style and these vertical red elements. And you also have more power on the front axle only, typical GTI style, 226 horsepower, 6.8 seconds in the acceleration figure. It's not too much more horsepower in comparing the 211 horsepower version of the standard Id.폴lo, the top spec one. However, a little bit more power, still the front wheels only, and you have an electronic differential lock in the front that you can get out of the corners in a better way. 19-inch wheels, GTI style. These are also standard red brake calipers. And another special feature is that you get the DCC, the adaptive suspension, exclusively here for the GTI. Length is 4 meters and 10 and 161 inches, so it's 5 centimeters longer actually than the standard Id.폴lo because of these spoilers here, also more aggressive in the outside part right there. And I think it works quite well, and I also saw some stars in Leah's eyes already here, because she also has a fable for smaller vehicles, and she also has a fable for very sporty vehicles, you know. So Leah's actually one that she always wants like the sporty look on the vehicles. I'm more like, always like very, you know, elegant, classic, chrome and so on. Yeah, and then you also have this red light that goes all the way through and the illuminated VW logo. Underneath then the large GTI lettering and a lot of black high gloss contrast right here, for example. So sportier look. Supposed to be also a sportier drive, especially if you set the DCC to sport, because here with the true adaptive suspension, it will also adapt to the driving mode. That's a very crucial thing here. And the normal Polo already drove very, very sporty. How sporty will this one drive? Just a quick look under the hood, because here then there is no engine for this new generation. There we go. And there's also no frunk because the climate compressor is so large and also housed in. That was the reason for that. Storing the cable then will be underneath. And this one also gets a lot of different interior special unique features, which are actually quite fancy. And then here in the front there's the charging flap. Passenger side, 11 kilowatt AC, 105 kilowatt DC, and 24 minutes from 10 to 80% state of charge for this 52 kilowatt hour NMC battery. So this one here, the Id.폴lo Gti, of course, only gets the bigger battery pack here from the Polo family. And it's also not only quicker, but also faster, because the usual VMAX is 160 kilometers an hour. This one here gets 175 kilometers an hour, or 110 miles per hour. And now it's time to check out the interior. Super exciting. Door closing sound, very solid. Ah, yeah, door hands are right there. And also very solid door closing sound. Then inside of the doors, top part is sadly hard packed, but here we have in the GTI then microfiber inserts. Glad to have normal window levers and normal controls of the side mirrors. This is then the door opener from the inside, but there's nice, galvanizing here on top of that. Hard pack in the door pocket, and then special GTI entry sill badge and a special GTI steering wheel with perforation at the side. It's also an animal-free material. It's good quality. And here red contrast on the inside. And what's pretty cool here, this is here not only some, some letters for GTI, this is an actual button. And when I press this GTI button, it's really cool to have that here. It switches to the GTI mode here in the instruments. Also in here, this is the final visualization here, GTI mode, and then also this racetrack with the honeycombs. And it also goes then here to this sporty suspension scheme. And you've also maybe seen it here on the top. Again, this also has activates this red ambient lighting effect, for example. And in this GTI mode, I also have like a petrol car emulation sound then while hitting the accelerator pedal. And illumination here for the Volkswagen logo and real buttons. They also give a very nice feedback indeed. And then these special sport seats, the Clark pattern on the inside and more shoulder accentuations even here. Integrated head restraint, that looks spectacular. But the question is, is it still also comfortable? Some sport seats are more comfortable, some are less. And in this case, I would say you have a similar comfort to the normal Polo, where you have also like the more extended, like the style seats, but then they have even more shoulder support right here, so they're actually fine also for tall adults. And steering wheel here, manual, up and down, in and out. Then the cockpit of the new Polo GTI. Yeah, once again, these sports seats are really amazing in the looks, aren't they? Pretty cool. Also here, have you seen these details here? This is like a graphic design. You know, it should be like where the seatbelt comes through from the racing seat, you know, like the theoretic hole for the seatbelt there, for the sports racing seatbelt. Interesting, you know. Then here, Isofix also on the front seat already, so it's also child-proof, so to speak. And then here, fabric on the top of the dash. Then we have special black, or this honeycomb. This is like, I hope this is like, maybe not the final finish here. I mean, it's a pre-production vehicle, so, but yeah, I hope these won't come off so easily. Then here, microfiber and the nice ambient lighting here in red underneath. Glove box is right there, also folds down in a smooth way. And happy to have real physical dials here for the temperature and also for the fan speed right there. Here, when you hit the turning indicators, by the way, then you also have this yellow flashing here on the inside, also cool. And a manual volume jog, so you still have more physical dials in here. Once again, this part here can also be taken out to be cleaned. The cooled inductive charging pad in the front, and here there's like a hole that goes through to the bottom to two USB-C chargers right there. There's a USB stick in there at the moment, and then you can put the cable from the bottom to the upper part and put your smartphone in like this, for example. Not sure how it is then with the cable directly there, but you can also put it right there and then have the cable through, so different solutions are possible. The cup holders are sadly not adaptive. I would wish that. And then here, softer for your elbow, more space underneath. And coming to the infotainment, 13-inch right here. You can still use the climate unit in the screen if you like so. And you also have different visualizations. There's like here the satellite view. You can scroll through this. Here I also have like a lap timer, for example. This is possible. And then you can also activate or deactivate the retro mode. And this would be the retro mode styling then here for the GTI. Similar in the normal, like in the normal Id.폴로. Is really good, like Golf 1, Golf 2 inspiration. I really love that. And the steering wheel itself is actually quite large for such a small car. I would say so. Good grip on the steering wheel due to the perforation. Can grab in here. And here you can also set the recuperation settings. Gears, like press the brakes, forward, backward. And this is then for the park. And yeah, there's a panoramic roof. You cannot open it. Fixed glass roof. You can apply a shade actually. But you could also pick a fixed glass roof for an Id.폴로, so this would actually be possible. Yeah, and of course I love these retro gauges right here. And here we go. So they're quite impressive, and also have, you know, this really like, you know, early Golf style, and you can also switch it through if you don't fancy it that much actually. Oh, and this is like the special GTI modern styling with the power meter. That's actually also quite cool. I would still prefer the retro gauges though. And then there's like the main menu, and important is when we're here in driving profiles. So Eco, Sport, Comfort and so on. And you can also have... I think I need one. What? What did you say? You need one? Oh. Maybe in blue, a blue GTI. Why not? And with red contrast. So yeah, this might be an expensive review for me. Here you can also individually set the DCC from Sport to Comfort. So this you can also rule, or also how much feedback the steering is supposed to have and so on. And they will even have an exterior engine sound for that. Yeah, looking forward to this one, how it's supposed to sound. And you will also have like an interior special GTI sound, they promise. Rear seats, hardback top. Harman Kardon sound system you can get, and nice microfiber inserts, and the same door mechanism for the GTI version. And you also have then the Clark pattern here on the rear seats with Isofix each on the outside parts. And yeah, these sport seats don't change much in the legroom. You don't have much legroom here in the rear when the tall driver is here, but it's not that the sport seat would have then less legroom or something like that. It's not the most comfortable because the battery is underneath, of course. Two USB-C chargers are down there. But you could still house 4 tall adults in here, so that would still be possible. And here, the trunk is at 440 liters. Why is that? This one also fits in vertically, and you have here a width of almost 1 meter or 40 inches. Length is about 65 centimeters or 25 inches. And we can, of course, also deinstall this and this. There we go. Sometimes you have to use the force, young Padawan. And then you can fold the seats right here, 1/3, 2/3 split. There we go. Most surprises will come underneath. If you haven't seen it so far, the length here is 1 meter 36 or 53, 54 inches. And then here underneath, you can fold it like this. And then you have charging cable underneath, like this, yeah. Charging cable, for example, but also the subwoofer. If you have the Harman Kardon sound system, this one, of course, takes away some of the space. But the cool thing is you can also put this one here to a lower setting overall. And then you have a gigantic height of 83 centimeters or 33 inches. And the total length, we are here at 1 meter 36 or 53 inches. So very well usable trunk in a sporty small vehicle. So tell me, what do you think about the all-new Volkswagen Polo GTI here, the Id.폴로 Gti? And if you're interested in that one, but you don't want to pay the price, because yes, the 25,000 euros is the entry price with the small battery. Then if you think about big battery and style trim level, the Id.폴로 is already at 37,000 euros. And here then as the GTI, it's more than towards the 40,000 euros. We don't have the exact prices yet. If we have them, then we'll also tell you in the video description, also here in the separate data comment. But 40K something is something you will have to invest in for this small performance vehicle. What do you think about it? Tell me in the comments. And now also compare the normal Polo versions.